Hey, what's up guys, it's Soakley, and we'll be back in Warhammer 2 doing some more battles. I am loving Warhammer 2. Just so many different combinations. I still haven't tried all of them, especially in 2v2 battles. So in this case, we're going to be doing an interesting matchup. Don't know if it works in terms of the lore, but I figured it was kind of appropriate. So my ally, for instance, chose Followers of Nagash. So these are the ones that do have access to some of the vampire units. So I decided I would go ahead and bring a proper vampire force as well. I have Mousillon. So yeah, I figured these would go pretty well hand in hand, and I do love the colors on Mousillon. It also gives you the option to bring some pretty dope ass, where are my Blood Knights? Here they are. Yeah, so the Blood Knights are available obviously to the various vampire factions, but I figured they were really good in the hands of the Red Duke, so I have two of them here. Oh, I didn't realize they have bat heads on their shoulders. That's awesome. But anyways, yeah, I have two of these on the flank, and the Red Duke himself is going to be joining us on the battlefront. He's going to be over on the side, actually, decked out and looking glorious. So yeah, I was intending to have a pretty heavy-hitting cavalry force, so two of those Blood Knights with the Red Duke himself. I also have a Dire Pack unit, and this one's pretty interesting because it has the anti-large bonus, so it's kind of nice to sneak into the back of cavalry once there's an engagement and just nom at their backsides, and these guys could do a fair amount of damage, so pretty dangerous unit. Especially going up against the human forces that we are. Their speed is also going to be very helpful. Then up through the front, well, I have a White King over on just a barded horse, a barded steed. I don't know if you can consider it a horse anymore. It's a skeletal steed. And then we have a line of Graveguard, buffed up by this Necromancer, who's going to be wading through here trying to get some healing on. And we're going to need some of that because we're going to be coming under some heavy bombardment from Empire and Bretonnia up top. So my guys are going to start to wade forward up the hill where we have to charge through. My ally here is also going to be charging forward. He has a lot of constructs, 3 of these Tomb Scorpions, so a bit more of a rush build. Normally you'd expect a decent amount of Ushabti with great bows, but no, he's going massive rush. Nahakara warriors, crypt ghouls, yeah, interspersed a lot of those. And then there are actually 2 Ushabti great bows, but he's being quite aggressive with them, pulling them up to try and perhaps snipe at some lords. And then he also has a Tomb King here on just one of the War Sphinxes. So we have a pretty scary rush build coming up at the enemy. So what do they have? Well, they've puckered up for the defense. Bretonnia has seized the air here. Not much we can do to contest that, with the Tomb Kings only really having Carrion, and the Vampire Counts really not having anything but bats and Vargheists, which I've brought only a single bat. So the air goes to the enemy. What are they going to do with it? Well, they have a whole bunch of these Foot Squires who don't really think they'll stack up against, you know, well, they're some of the best Bretonnia will have, but still, you know, pound for pound, they'll do okay, but we have more numbers and we can raise dead. So in the infantry department, our Graveguard and our Nahakara warriors and crypt ghouls and zombies are all going to chew through these guys. So they need to have something to deliver the killing power, and it looks like that's going to be handled by the Empire player here, who has essentially just gone full on ranged forces. Lots of handgunners, crossbowmen. He has a cannon crew that's going to try and move up to the lip of this hill. He has a steam tank, etc. And then we've already started to see some batteries get forth from the mortar. And I thought I had seen a Hellstorm rocket battery. I guess it was the mortar firing. He does still have some Demigryph Knights with halberds, so these can be pretty good against our monsters if they can tie us down. And then Bretonnia also securing the right-hand side with some more Foot Squires, and pretty critically, Royal Hippogriff Knights to protect their lords. So they can come and pounce in on our own lords, which we have to be careful of. My bats, meanwhile, are just going to be going around and getting some scouting. So we can go ahead and watch that from their perspective. Spies of the enemy. Not a wisp of smoke this time. But yeah, so here we go. We're going to be pushing up. The Empire is also moving up in its dense formations. Prime target for some of our guys. Oh, it looks like the Fae is actually out here. Oh, this is pretty glorious looking. So she's out here. Lady, you need to turn around and heal up your forces. But yeah, the Empire line is going to try and unload on our dudes, but they're going to have a hard chance, or a hard time, trying to fire through at our ranks. A lot of it is being eaten by this Tomb Scorpion, and it is just not getting through his armor. Meanwhile, we're going to continue to flank around. Looks like the Scorpion has pounced right through here, so 2 of these units. They're going to tear it up. Not much over here. You would have hoped Bretonnia would have had maybe some cavalry to block our large units, tie these guys down, but no, they're going to have free range. So with that flank should collapse. The enemy, meanwhile, is going to try and hold out here, but I'm pushing up with Graveguard, and I have the ability to raise some dead, and I have 2 zombies of my own. So they should be able to swarm in on this position, and once I raise dead behind this line, there's nothing much to keep me back. The enemy seems to know that that's a problem, and so they're going to come in and try and snipe at my lord who's in the back. Try and get a bit of debilitating losses on my flank. Seeing that that is his intended target, my loyal bodyguards here, the Blood Knights, are going to do an about face. I'm going to try here and reinforce my lord. I'm pulling in the dire pack. Everyone's going to be coming in here. The Red Duke is going to seek cover in the woods. Looks like the enemy has landed in amongst my guys. The ground shaking with their impact, but I can get in here. And we're going to start to raise dead on top of these guys. Plus, I have all my allies in the vicinity. Bretonnia's attempt to try and get at me, well, it looks like they landed on a previous corpse field and zombies have just come up. So the darlings of Bretonnia may be going down here rather quickly. Yeah, they're losing tons of health. A lot of units committed, taking lots of damage. I've got a complete surround. Meanwhile, over here, I'm pulling forward. A lot of my forces are going to come and kind of get stuck on this steam tank. And his gunners, we're trying to get a flanking shot off on these Nehekara warriors. He does have maybe some Pegasus Knights trying to snipe at some units. One of them did land amongst the Ushabti, but they've actually been able to take these guys out. I guess a couple bow shots, plus the fact that they're pretty decent in melee, means that those, yeah, man, with reinforcements, looks like the enemy is just not having a good day. Meanwhile, over here, where they're trying to rebuff our forces, I mean, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units committed on this side of the battlefield against what? A free zombie unit and 2 cheap zombie forces. So that's how you want to use your fodder units. Meanwhile, my bats are circling around. Man-sized bats at that. And they're going to try and eat some of these dudes. But here comes the zombie line, breaking against these men. And this is where you'd probably want to be a free company. They're a little bit better in melee. Might be able to deal with these zombies, but unfortunately he's been forced to pull out. And all that does is just buy me more time. They do have a bit of a... Is that a Celestial Light Wizard? Not quite sure, but he needs to be doing something here. Casting some sort of spell, getting involved in the action. Because look at his left flank. There's nothing here. If the enemy... Oh my god, did you see the Fae? Where'd she go? She's somewhere near... Oh my god, she's being crushed under these 3 constructs coming in here. My god, this is crazy. But yeah, you'd figure if the enemy had perhaps coordinated a bit better, they could have had... Yeah, Empire can bring the guns, but in that case, Bretonnia does have to bring something to hold the front line, and that would have probably been, in my eyes, a bunch of heavy cav, which they would have been known for. Oh man, this is devastating. I don't even know where the Fae ended up. Just eating these ranks alive. Meanwhile, it looks like the steam tank is still holding out. The enemy is getting, banishment spells. And it's doing a decent amount of damage to our Blood Knights, but they're just going to chug right on through that. And we're going to continue to surround the remaining forces. Pegasus Knights are going to come back and try and rally in the center. This is the end times for sure. God, this game is so visually impressive. Glorious. Calfran's still alive, trying to tie down the enemy. And he is in good company, but we're starting to crest the hill here, and we may be able to focus in on him. The steam tank's still chugging away. Gonna get the anti-large Blood Knights in here, plus the white, popping all sorts of heroic killing blows, Invocation of Nehek to replenish the HP on my guys. So yeah, we're really gonna try and knock this guy out. And meanwhile, the Necromancer's just giddy here, seeing all the death and destruction around him. He's just gonna pull up some courses, pile them on here, and have them wave at people like these guys are doing. But yeah, he's gonna have quite the battlefield to raise the dead. It looks like he's already getting some of that off right now. I love how the souls come in and hit the ground. Oh, and just as they do so, they get killed. But we have a lot of dead to come in here. Looks like that guy lost his head, actually. Yeah, tons of numbers on our side. Yeah, and the enemy range units, I mean, he had a bunch of them, and they were deployed on a hill. This would have been good. Oh, okay, another couple souls coming up. But yeah, they were deployed on a hill, which was pretty good. It's just the deployment time that they had to get to the lip here. You know, had they deployed, you know, had they had the opportunity to deploy a little bit sooner, they could have had rank and rank and rank firing over one another, but this lip actually ended up working against them, and our quick charge really resulted in a pretty easy steamrolling. That being said, the enemy is somewhat turning the tide here. The hosts of foot squires and battle programs are seeing off the infantry of the enemy. Yeah, so it looks like mostly... Actually, they've been doing a pretty good job. Ushabti chased down, Demigryph Knights with halberds doing a good job. So it's only a couple of these Tomb King forces that are still left alive. But yeah, it may have been a case of 2v1 against these Tomb Kings, the reason they've been knocked off. But in doing so, they've left me pretty much unmolested. And for the most part, they've left these constructs just alive and doing tons of damage. My god, these guys are scary. They have a little skull on them. Oh! Oh my god. Yeah, and that little red that you saw there was a bit of a breath spell that I believe you can get on your white. They have that ability, and you can see a bunch of death here where I cast it, and it did get a fair amount of these handgunners. See, lots of damage done. But take a look at Karl Franz. He's down, trying to take on heroically the Red Duke and a bunch of our other forces. But he's going to learn that was a poor choice. He's trying to wait out, but... Oh god, I think he's gonna go down here. Oh yeah, and he may be getting out of this fight with the little bit of his life left if these undead don't, you know, pull on his tail, yank him down. That zombie, unfortunately, is gonna be going down for the count. But the rest of his army is gone, and Karl Franz may go and raise the alarm, but our necromancer here on the corpse cart has a bunch more corpses to raise, so the next encounter will be even more in our favor. So yeah, not too much of a strategically significant battle, but nonetheless, really fun eye candy. One of the great things that I do obviously enjoy about Warhammer 2. So with that being said, let's go ahead and end the replay. Oh man, this Crypt Ghouls probably got a fair amount of kills, being that they're here in the late game. But yeah, let's end the replay. Take a look at the stats, and what do we have here? I guess we can look at my side first. So not too many kills, it turns out. So I was just kind of chugging along, you know, eating away at that steam tank, eating away at some of the lords, killing the hippogriffs. So yeah, not much kills overall. That is, yeah, that just goes to show that, you know, a lot of the damage was put on my ally. Or sorry, he did a lot of the killing. And you can see, decent kills all throughout. The Tomb King and the Scorpions doing work. And the enemy had a fair amount of numbers. But, you know, at the end of the day, didn't get too much kills. Although I take that back on the crossbowmen, that seems like it was a good investment. Though at the same time, these guys were probably shooting into zombies. So this is, you know, easy, fleshy targets that they were getting. But yeah, maybe they would have done better to drop out a couple of these handgunners, get some halberds, great swords, or maybe even some, you know, invest in another Demigryph Knights. Really need to tie down some of the constructs from the Followers of Nagash and the Tomb Kings. Those guys can tear through infantry lines, and so the fact that they both went heavy on infantry with not much anti-large was probably a poor choice. The diving in of these Royal Hippogriff Knights, had these guys stayed back and had they focused down, you know, some of the constructs, I think the enemy could have done a number on us. They had enough flying, large flying, you know, Lord Snipers essentially, that they could have gone after us and deconstructed us pretty well piecemeal. So a little bit questionable on that decision from Carcassonne here, and yeah, they paid the price. So that's it for this battle. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.